A view from the Wellington Arch as the household cavalry returns from the changing of the guard. A ceremony dating back generations, close to the house of the soldier politician who gave his name to the arch.
I'm at the heart of London, a very busy Hyde Park corner, at the home of a great military hero who proved rather less popular as Prime Minister. This is Apsley House, the home of the first Duke of Wellington, the victor, of course, at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. Do you know, he won so many military accolades and tributes that he actually had to extend this place to fit them all in. The current Duke of Wellington is going to be our special guide today. I'm going inside to meet him. And here he is, the man himself.
Yes, this is, I think, one of the best paintings ever done of the first Duke. Here, in this painting, Sir Thomas Lawrence paints him in civilian dress, without any appendages of success or power. And I find that very, very moving. It is also true, in fact, that he traditionally, when on campaign, did actually wear civilian dress.
In 1817, Arthur Wellesley bought the lease for Apsley House from his brother. He later acquired the freehold. The house Wellington created is now the London home of the 9th Duke.
There was a turnpike, and that was the proper entry into London from the west, and hence this house became known as Number 1 London. Here we're going into the dining room, which was added onto the house by the first Duke in 1819, after he had bought the house from his elder brother. And almost the first thing the Arthur, Duke of Wellington, did was to add on this dining room.
Every detail is a tribute to the first Duke, a grand centrepiece.
All the battles are on these little shields all the way around the centrepiece.
And portraits from the grateful national rulers who benefited from the fall of Napoleon. On his return to England, the Duke began hosting annual dinners to mark that victory.
First Waterloo banquets were held in this room, but this table only takes 34 people. And that simply wasn't enough.
So he called in the builders.
Well, this is the Waterloo Gallery, we know it as. It was added to the house in 1828-29, while the first Duke was living in Downing Street. And this room was added partially to provide wall space to hang this enormous collection of pictures that the Duke by then had, and also to provide a space for the annual Waterloo banquets, which so many of his fellow generals wanted to attend.
Because the length of this room, about 90 feet long?
Something like that.
You could accommodate quite a table and quite a guest list, couldn't you?
The table, when set up and it goes round these two Russian torchères, the table accommodated 72 people.
Some of the most notable artworks arrived here from Spain via the Peninsular War.
At the Battle of Vitoria in June 1813, the British Army captured a huge baggage train of Joseph Bonaparte, the elder brother of Napoleon Bonaparte. Joseph Bonaparte was at that moment King of Spain, having been put there by Napoleon. And when he left Madrid earlier in that year, he stole from the royal palaces in Madrid a large collection of pictures. And after the war was over, the Duke, on 3 occasions, wrote to the King of Spain, asking how he'd like them returned.
Would you like your paintings back?
Exactly. And in the end, he got no reply to the first two letters, but to the third letter, he finally got a reply from the King of Spain saying that His Majesty does not wish to deprive you of that which came into your hands by means as just as they are honourable. And therefore, the whole collection, 280 paintings, became a present from the King of Spain.
Among those 280 pictures, the Water Cellar of Seville by Velázquez and this study of Pope Innocent X. And the first Duke's favourite painting, The Agony in the Garden by Correggio. Waterloo had made Wellington a national hero, and he remains best known as a soldier, but he'd also been an MP in both the Irish and the Westminster Parliaments. His return to politics after Waterloo proved challenging. Conservative Prime Minister from 1828 to 1830, facing down opposition in his own party to force through a law giving some civil rights to Roman Catholics, and even fighting a duel. Later, his opposition to voting reform brought rioters to Apsley House.
You have to remember that while he was Prime Minister, he actually passed what was an extremely controversial bill, the Catholic Emancipation Bill. And he took a very pragmatic approach to that. And that was his great difficulty as Prime Minister, the right wing of the Tory party. Once he went into, perhaps? I was just thinking that how similar that might be to various prime ministers since the war on the question of Europe. That's what he did as Prime Minister. When he went into opposition at the end of 1830, beginning of 1831, he did indeed oppose, as the leader of the opposition in the House of Lords, the Great Reform Bill. But in the end, he felt the mood of the country and advised the Lords to pass the legislation.
One reason for his nickname, perhaps, as the Iron Duke?
Put iron shutters on the house in case there should be any future problems, which there never were. The only time in his entire life when he wasn't popular was this period, 1831-32, when he was resisting the Great Reform Bill in the House of Lords. There was a dip in his popularity, but relatively soon after that, and he did indeed become Prime Minister again in 1834, though only temporarily until Robert Peel could be found. And
that was how he got his, well, the nickname. People call him the Iron Duke.
Yes, I mean, there are various theories about that. That could be one reason. The other reason simply could be that he was steadfast in so many actions of his life, both as a general and as a politician.
After the Second World War, the seventh Duke gave the house to the nation, and part of it opened to the public in 1952. Apsley House is now maintained by English Heritage. And one of the first things visitors see is this.
It was commissioned by Napoleon. He didn't like it at all. The piece was put back in its box and put in the basement of the Louvre. And then the British government had the rather surprising idea that it would be an interesting present to give to the first Duke. I cannot imagine that it was a present that he was terribly pleased to receive, because not only is it an image that he might not have wanted to have in his house, but it is of a size, it is so monumental.
It's 12 feet.
Something like that.
12 feet high.
And then the floor had to be strengthened. I mean, beneath here, there are big pillars supporting this enormous weight.
One of the best known images of the first Duke is this portrait, also by Thomas Lawrence, the basis for the old £5 note. And it also inspired this recent addition to the house.
Well, we commissioned this for the bicentenary of the battle in 2015 from Michael Craig Martin, RA, who has done a very small number of what he calls computer portraits, and then created this image, which has, as I remember, something like 20 different sections on it of different colours, and each colour is changing constantly.
Well, we only have to look at it for a few seconds and
Exactly.
it's already changing before our eyes. He's depicted here, you know, in a modern way, and yet people still feel he's relevant to today.
It is true that his image is even today, still quite well known, and so I think this is a contemporary interpretation, but of course there are many, many memorials to him in one way or another. This is just our contribution to that.
So there you have it. Number 1, London, home to one of Britain's greatest military leaders, but who faced some of his toughest challenges as Prime Minister.